While on her morning run, one woman says she was physically assaulted on the trail. Now, local law enforcement is using her story to send a message. The summertime doesn't only bring high heat. According to local law enforcement, it also brings a high number of car theft. And they say one way to avoid being a victim: lock your doors. The Razorback women's gymnastics team caught the country by storm after finishing 10th in the nation last season. And now, after only losing 3 seniors, they're not only looking to raise the bar, but to make the red and white unforgettable. Every day, people come into the Fayetteville Public Library for things like reading and resources, but now, with the help of a new expansion, there'll be more than just a book on the shelf. All season long, fans have sold out Baum Stadium as the Hogs fought for their spot in the College World Series. And now, even though the team has made it to Omaha, this stadium will still be packed with fans watching their team compete for a national title. One man sat in the Benton County Courthouse today facing the jury of his peers that found him guilty on rape and battery of an elderly woman. We're here in Crawford County, where authorities have been working all morning on this street behind me to recover 2 bodies that were buried in a shallow grave under a mattress. Early Wednesday morning, the Crawford County Sheriff's Office was notified of a possible grave site near Star Road. Upon arrival, deputies found the body of 1 elderly male and 1 elderly female. Authorities say the 2 were from Kansas. Crawford County Sheriff Ron Brown says he believes the woman was shot inside a camper that the victims owned. The mattress they were hidden under was from that camper. Brown says it didn't take his team long to locate the gravesite, but they wanted to be very particular in the way they recovered the bodies.
We did find some other things with it, clothing and different types of personal items, household items and things like that that were buried with it.
Now, there have been 3 arrests made in the connection to the case. Rusty Frazier, Michael Fowler, and Kimberly Younger face charges of abuse of a corpse, theft of property, and tampering with physical evidence. They may also face other charges within another jurisdiction. Now, authorities did tell us they will not be releasing any names until the families are notified. In Crawford County, Kayla Tucker, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News. This construction site behind me may seem like a step back to some, but for the Fayetteville Public Library, after a 2-year battle, it's a step into the future.
So in August of 2016, the voters said, hey, let's build a bigger library. We're loving this one to death and we need more space.
The library was excited to get going, but the original owners placed a bump in the road.
The donating family, the Stone family, took issue with the way at which the Washington Regional was selling the property, but all of that was resolved by the Arkansas State Supreme Court.
Now in 2018, the library is breaking ground on the much anticipated project.
And finally being able to deliver on a promise. It was something that we said we were going to do, and we're people of our word, and I'm really happy for this moment.
The library celebrated with a demolition kickoff. Mayor Lionel Jordan and Jim Blair, who played a major part in building the existing library, attended the ceremony. The community was on hand to see the walls start to fall as the future is now under construction. But David Johnson, executive director of the Fayetteville Public Library, says they will never forget where they came from.
I take a lot of those bricks and a lot of the pieces from that facility and grind them up and make them a part of the foundation of the Fayetteville Public Library expansion.
The expansion will include things like a virtual reality room, a recording studio, culinary arts classes, and even a 700-seat multi-purpose room. They expect construction to be done in the year 2020. In Fayetteville, Kayla Tucker, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News.
Your life, your news. You're watching Fox 24 News.
We are following a developing story out of Washington County this morning where one man is injured following an officer-involved shooting. The Washington County Sheriff's Office tells us the shooting happened on Sonora Acres Road in Springdale. Fox 24 was first on the scene. Deputies with the Washington County Sheriff's Office said they responded to a domestic disturbance at the home shortly after 11 last night. The Sheriff's Office called in the Springdale Police Department due to the location of the call. When law enforcement got to the scene, they say they were approached by a man with a gun.
They all arrived at about the same time and approached the house. They were confronted by a male with a gun. They identified themselves and ordered him to put the gun down. He advanced on officers and was shot.
We know the man was taken to Washington Regional Medical Center. However, we do not know his condition at this time. There were no deputies or officers injured in the shooting. Arkansas State Police will be taking over the investigation. The school safety conversation continued Thursday as majority of Arkansas students prepare to return to classes next month. The governor's commission met for the first time after he released his priorities, and armed presence on every campus and making more mental health services available. One commissioner says armed personnel was at the top of their recommendations, but should be the last option districts turn to. A member of the National Parent-Teacher Association was happy to hear the commission plans to hear from students.
It's only through their eyes that we truly know what's going on, and we have to make sure that they have a comfort zone with who they're speaking with.
Melinda Kinnison has set her priorities to advocate for mental health improvements for students over arming staff. The Fayetteville Housing Authority is discussing proposed changes to its 5-year proposal that it plans to present to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. On Tuesday, the Fayetteville City Council created recommendations that it wanted FHA to consider before Mayor Jordan signed off on it. They all center around improving low-income housing and paying more attention to homeless in the city. No word on if the proposed changes will be accepted.